A man receives a mysterious and bizarre mission. Every day, he must hang mines over a bottomless abyss. At first glance, the task seems simple, but in reality, it is anything but easy. What's even stranger is that all the smoke gathers deep below the abyss, while the man himself lives up in a watchtower, suspended dozens of meters above the ground. All these signs make Ryan a former Special Forces soldier, deeply suspicious. But the previous guard refuses to reveal anything. He only warns Ryan never to casually contact the person on the other side. Ryan must also endure complete isolation here for an entire year. JD quickly hands over the important duties and leaves in a hurry the very next day. Unexpectedly, before JD can even board the plane, he is shot dead by a high-ranking commander. His body is abandoned in the wilderness because no one who learns the secret of the abyss is ever allowed to leave alive. And behind all of this lies an even greater conspiracy. At this moment, Ryan begins his first patrol inspection. His job appears extremely simple. In fact, it does not seem difficult at all. Every day, he must routinely inspect the signal equipment, check whether the satellite system is functioning normally, and examine whether the barbed wire fence along the edge of the abyss has been damaged. He also has to activate the mounted guns, just to make sure they still operate correctly. After recording all these details, he must report to headquarters about the possible problems predicted for the day. But this kind of life is truly dull and lifeless. So one day, he suddenly gets an idea. He uses a telescope to look toward the watchtower across the abyss, and the moment he looks, he is completely stunned. To his surprise, a beautiful young woman lives there. Her flawless figure makes Ryan unable to stop himself from staring. At that moment, the beautiful woman's sixth sense suddenly notices something. She turns around and looks directly toward Ryan. Caught spying on her, Ryan panics. Without realizing it, the wheel of fate between the two has already begun to turn. A violent storm erupts near the abyss. The roaring thunder suddenly wakes Ryan from his sleep. As a highly trained former Special Forces soldier, even the slightest movement instantly puts him on edge. It is the trauma left behind by war. After calming down, he realizes he stepped on broken glass scattered across the floor, and blood is everywhere. Ryan quickly treats the wound, but still cannot resist picking up his binoculars and secretly watching Sophia again. On the other side, Sophia seems to have anticipated that he would look toward her, so without hesitation, she blows out the candle. This leaves Ryan confused. Why would a woman come to guard such a lonely and desolate tower? As it turns out, a few days earlier, Sophia, one of the world's top assassins, had eliminated an important target. To escape the police pursuit, she fled to this isolated watchtower. The next evening, Sophia buys herself a birthday cake, but being alone is simply too unbearable. Unable to suppress her loneliness, she uses the telescope to see what Ryan is doing. After noticing Ryan reading outside, she immediately runs back inside and writes a few words. Then she fires a flare into the sky. The sound instantly catches Ryan's attention. Using his telescope, Ryan sees that Sophia is asking for his name, but Ryan, being an awkwardly serious man, instead writes on a sign, "No communication." Sophia already knows that today is her birthday. She decides she can do whatever she wants. Seeing this, Ryan eventually tells her his name. Even though the two are separated by over 100 meters, this tiny exchange turns the lonely pair guarding the abyss into friends. At that moment, Ophia suddenly shoots and explodes Ryan's water tank with a single shot. Then, she makes an embarrassed little gesture. It is clearly a shameless provocation. Ryan refuses to lose. He immediately raises his rifle and shoots her wine bottle apart. However, what surprises him most is that Sophia not only does not get angry, she actually places another bottle on top of her head, as if challenging Ryan to take another shot. But just then, Sophia suddenly notices something unusual. She quickly points down toward the abyss. Ryan immediately looks through his scope and is shocked to discover countless monsters crawling upward from below. These creatures are known as the creatures, monsters of the canyon. Ryan instantly realizes this cannot mean anything good, so he immediately opens fire. Ryan enters combat mode at once, shooting relentlessly downward. Sophia activates the mounted cannon, and a storm of bullets rains across the cliffside. Countless creatures are blasted back into the abyss. The two coordinate perfectly, and before long, they clear every creature from the cliffs. Just when they think it is over, strange noises suddenly echo beneath Sophia's feet. Carefully, she leans over to look. Unexpectedly, a creature has silently climbed up. Sophia immediately draws her gun and kills it. But what she never expected is that several more are right behind it. Ryan notices the danger from across the abyss. He instantly fires and destroys the creatures climbing the wall. One of the monsters falls and accidentally triggers the hanging mines. The massive explosion injures Sophia immediately. Ryan panics. Without hesitation, he activates the heavy machine gun, helping Sophia clear the monsters swarming the cliff, while also watching for creatures climbing beneath his own feet. Fortunately, Sophia is not seriously injured. She endures the pain, stands beside the mounted gun, and continues firing. Shells rain down like a storm upon the creatures below. At this moment, the creatures on the cliff trigger the infrared sensors. Within seconds, multiple automated cannons activate at once. The two fight from midnight until dawn. Although the creatures finally retreat, Ryan still keeps his Barrett rifle raised, carefully inspecting every corner of the cliffs, in case any monsters remain hidden. Meanwhile, Sophia simply bandages her wounds and writes a few words on a cardboard sign. "This was the best birthday I've ever had." After surviving a night of life and death together, the bond between the two quietly deepens. Once morning arrives, Ryan begins repairing the damaged fences and the hanging mines along the cliff. But at that moment, a drone suddenly rises from the depths of the abyss. Sophia immediately aims her Barrett rifle, ready to shoot it down at any moment. Fortunately, the drone shows no hostility. It simply turns around and flies away. Advanced technology, like this appearing here, makes the two even more suspicious, but neither wants to investigate further. Over the following months, the creatures seem to disappear completely. The relationship between the two also grows closer. Whenever they become bored, they sit on opposite sides of the abyss and play chess. Sometimes they even use the only cooking pot in the house, Azadrum. This strange life actually feels peaceful. Until one day, Ryan goes out on his usual patrol, but unexpectedly, Sophia is nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, Sophia is alone listening to music, quietly grieving after the sudden death of her father. When Ryan returns from patrol, he notices through the binoculars that Sophia is crying. So he asks what happened. Sophia tells him that her father has passed away. Then she softly adds, "I wish you could come over here with me." However, those words keep Ryan awake all night. Eventually, he decides to break the rules and cross the abyss to meet Sophia. First, he takes out a rocket launcher. Then he carefully removes the explosives inside, reassembles-y, and ties a cable to the launcher. The final step is taking aim. With a loud whoosh, the rocket successfully launches across the abyss. Sophia immediately rushes over with a fire extinguisher and puts out the flames on the tree. Then she secures the cable tightly around the trunk. All that remains is waiting for Ryan to cross. Ryan adjusts his appearance and even picks several wildflowers from the mountains as a gift. Finally, he rushes down toward the abyss filled with hope. He originally planned to arrive on the other side in style, but unexpectedly, he gets stuck halfway. Completely helpless, Ryan can only climb the rest by hand. By the time he reaches the other side, he is completely out of breath. Fortunately, Sophia has been waiting for him. When the two finally meet, a strangely awkward silence fills the air. That evening, they sit together on the balcony. The orange glow of the sunset shines across their faces, giving the already intimate atmosphere an even more romantic feeling. The two have endless things to talk about, from daytime until late into the night. That same night, they finally confirm their relationship as lovers. Time passes quickly. During the day, Ryan must return to his own post, forcing him to say goodbye to Sophia. Just as Ryan reaches the halfway point back, a terrible accident suddenly occurs. Moments after leaving his girlfriend, he is sliding along the cable toward his side, when suddenly, an explosion erupts from the cliff. A piece of debris slices through the cable. Ryan completely loses control and plummets 10,000 meters into the abyss. Seeing her boyfriend fall, Sophia immediately straps on a parachute and jumps off the cliff after him. The thick fog inside the abyss blocks all visibility. Sophia can only make an emergency landing in a river. Unfortunately, her parachute becomes tangled in the rocks. Luckily, Sophia remains calm under pressure. She immediately cuts the parachute free with a knife, allowing her to swim safely to the surface. But before the danger can end, another crisis strikes. The river is flowing violently. If she cannot grab onto something in time, she could lose her life. Fortunately, Sophia manages to catch a tree branch, escaping death once again. Meanwhile, Ryan hangs unconscious from a tree, completely unaware that the creatures lurking there have already targeted him. As Ryan slowly lifts his head after hearing movement, he suddenly finds a monster directly in front of him, its mouth stretched wide like a bloody pit. Ryan fires desperately at the creature, while frantically trying to remove the ropes around his body. Although he escapes the monster, he falls violently from the tree to the ground. Just as he tries to stand, he realizes sticky slime has trapped him. The surrounding trees seem alive, extending sharp fangs toward him, ready to devour him. At the critical moment, Sophia arrives just in time, shooting off the deadly vines and saving Ryan's life. Ryan cannot believe that Sophia risked her own life to rescue him and descended into the abyss for his sake. Little does he know, what they just experienced was only the appetizer. The true nightmare is only beginning. The fog here limits visibility to less than 5 meters. At the slightest sound, the two instantly become alert. Suddenly, a dark shadow rushes past Sophia, slamming her to the ground. When Ryan tries to help, he too is thrown aside by the creature. Sophia attempts to create distance, but another creature pins her down. These monsters possess no self-awareness. They care only about killing. Sophia immediately draws her knife and stabs the creature in the throat. Then she grabs a gun and shoots it dead. At the same time, Ryan pulls out his revolver and kills the creature in front of him. After the battle ends, the two carefully confirm the area is safe before lowering their guard. At that moment, Ryan suddenly notices something horrifying. The creatures are wearing old military uniforms. This terrifying discovery suggests that the monsters may actually be soldiers from military units that mysteriously disappeared 15 years ago. But why did they transform into monsters and appear here? Clearly, a massive secret lies hidden behind all of this. The two continue moving through the fog. Soon, they enter a strange area filled with purple mist. The trees here have twisted unnatural forms, and the air itself feels disturbing. Not long after, they discover an underground bunker. The two quickly enter and seal the door. Unexpectedly, inside lies a laboratory abandoned long ago. They cautiously search through the facility. Before long, Sophia discovers a backup generator. Despite being ancient and forgotten, it surprisingly still works. The projector also powers on, playing an old video recording. It reveals that during World War II, this was the place where Bartholomew created terrifying experimental creatures. At the same time, they were secretly developing a devastating biochemical missile. Unexpectedly, a massive earthquake destroyed the facilities, causing the biochemical substance to leak. Everyone exposed became infected. Within 5 hours, human DNA would merge with plant, animal, and insect genes, transforming them into horrifying creatures that were neither human nor beast. The monsters Ryan and Sophia encountered are living proof. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, the two immediately decide to leave. Otherwise, they too may become infected and mutate. But before escaping, Ryan discovers another shocking secret. The genetic experiments never actually ended. The drone they saw earlier was collecting genetic samples from the abyss in order to create super soldiers. And the organization behind it all is not the military but a genetic corporation called Black Ops. Ryan finally understands. His true mission was to protect their secret. At that moment, Ryan discovers another classified project called Project Wild Dog. The organization secretly constructed a massive bomb hanging along the cliffside of the abyss. If the secret of the abyss is ever exposed, the bomb will automatically detonate. Everything within hundreds of miles will be completely destroyed. But just as the two prepare to leave, Sophia suddenly notices that their equipment bag has disappeared. Ryan is shocked. Could the creatures actually understand tactics? To stay safe, Ryan first throws several smoke grenades. After the smoke covers the area, he carefully steps outside. The backpack lies motionless in the open. The two stand back to back, scanning the surroundings. After confirming there is no danger, they cautiously retrieve the bag. But in the very next second, Sophia is suddenly dragged into the fog. Ryan immediately pulls out his weapon and desperately tries to kill the creature. However, the creature suddenly accelerates, causing Ryan to slam into a tree and lose consciousness completely. Meanwhile, Ryan follows the drag marks all the way to the base where the giant bomb is stored. At this moment, the creature does not kill Sophia. Instead, it suspends her in the air and tortures her. The creature tightly twists the wounded branch, pinning her body, causing unbearable pain to spread through Sophia instantly. Sophia gathers all her strength to break free, then charges toward the creature. But her attacks are meaningless, as if merely scratching an itch. The creature swings its blade towards Sophia, and every strike is lethal. Sophia can only dodge continuously. At the critical moment, she grabs a burning torch and launches a counterattack. Unable to withstand the flames, the creature is engulfed in fire. Ryan arrives just in time and kills it with a single shot, then fires another round into its head just to be certain. Sophia survives by mere inches. In despair, she clings tightly to Ryan. Had he arrived even a little later, she would already be dead. At this moment, Ryan notices the name on the creature's uniform. So was the very first guardian of the abyss. He was also the one who originally named the creatures. But now is not the time to think about it. They must return to the watchtower immediately. Soon, they discover an old broken-down Jeep. After making simple repairs, the vehicle finally starts. The two drive toward the eastern wall, because a cable there can help them climb back up. Ryan secures the cable to the Jeep, while Sophia covers him, but the number of creatures is overwhelming. Their ammunition quickly runs out. The moment Ryan finishes tying the cable, he grabs his weapon and begins shooting the approaching creatures. After clearing them out, Sophia immediately accelerates the climb, slowly ascending the cliff. Just when they think they are safe, Sophia suddenly realizes that the creatures are climbing the cable behind them, and they are moving incredibly fast. To stop them, Ryan draws a large combat knife and begins a desperate battle on the cable. Sophia also grabs an axe and swings at the monsters, but there are simply too many. If this continues, they will eventually be dragged back down. So Ryan makes a bold decision. He stabs the fuel tank, allowing gasoline to pour over the creatures. Then he lights a flare and throws it downward. The moment the fire touches the fuel, a massive blaze erupts instantly. The creatures are finally destroyed. Sophia quickly pulls Ryan upward. To prevent the monsters from climbing again, she immediately cuts the cable. At this moment, the two are less than 10 meters from the top. Now they can only climb with their bare hands. Although they finally return safely, they must remain isolated for 5 days, in case they have become infected. If everything remains normal, they promise to meet again on an island in Paris. But before leaving, they must destroy the abyss together. So the following day, the two begin planting explosives. They continue watching over each other like always. But just as Sophia sits down to rest, she suddenly notices a helicopter approaching the watchtower. It is clearly sent to eliminate them. Their plan is forced to move ahead immediately. The helicopter lands near the tower. Their superior arrives with 2 assassins and instantly deploys drones into the forest to hunt Ryan and Sophia. One drone quickly locates Ryan and opens fire wildly. Ryan clutches his Barrett rifle and can only run. Unexpectedly, a falling tree suddenly knocks him to the ground. Seizing the opportunity, Ryan raises his rifle and fires. the drone is successfully destroyed. Meanwhile, Sophia's situation is no better. Two drones are hunting her. As one closes in, she fires a single shot and destroys it. The crashing drone accidentally shoots down the second one. After reaching a safe location, she sets up her Barrett rifle. The objective of the two is simple: destroy the signal tower and activate the self-destruct sequence of the giant bomb. When all signal stations on both sides are destroyed, the higher-ups immediately realize something is wrong. They understand that Project Wild Dog has been activated. If they fail to escape in time, they too will die here. Just as the helicopter attempts to flee the abyss, Project Wild Dog detonates. Every structure collapses instantly, under the devastating shockwave. Meanwhile, the helicopter still has not escaped the danger zone. Even though the pilot pushes the aircraft to maximum speed, it still cannot escape its fate. The shockwave strikes the helicopter, and it crashes into the abyss. Ryan, injured and barely able to walk, is thrown from the cliff by the blast wave. Below the cliff is water, but whether he survives or dies remains unknown. Sophia waited near the abyss for 5 days. She wasn't mutated, but she had also lost all contact with Ryan. Then she went to the island where she had arranged to meet Ryan, but she waited for many days. Still, Ryan didn't appear. 4 months passed quickly. Sophia found a job on the island. She also settled there because she believed that Ryan would come to find her. Indeed, sincerity doesn't disappoint. One time she turned around. She saw Ryan sitting on a chair looking at her. The two embraced warmly upon meeting. This video ends here. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow more interesting stories to improve your English. See you in the next story.